Hello and welcome back to another Diabetic Witterings with me, Michael Jex, the tea drinking author, who is currently enjoying a cold drink. It's the hottest day of the year so far, I think, here in England. Now, I have been sent a whole bunch of stuff. I mentioned last week that I'd been sent an insect bite healer, which I'm glad to say I still haven't been able to test. Nothing's bitten me recently. But at the same time, Sinocare sent me some other stuff. They sent me this, and they sent me two of these. What are they? Well, for you who have got diabetes, you'll know what these things are. This is a standard finger pricking blood test. This is a continual glucose monitor. I'm going to be using this for a month or so, so I'll be giving you an update on how I get on with it. So I thought it would be useful today to just talk about this briefly and compare it with other systems I've used. So what do you get with the Sinocare Safe AQ Pro 1 blood glucose monitoring system? That's quite a mouthful. You get ketone warning, wide HCT range of 10 to 70%. No idea what that means. 500 results memory, so it's got a memory in it. And 5 seconds for each result. So let's have a look at one. What do you get in the box, first of all? Well, you get instructions for using the lancing machine. This is the thing that will actually stab you whenever you want to test yourself. Always a lovely thought. You get something which I find actually incredibly useful. Mainly because it's the first time I've seen one of these. I've seen various versions on the internet, but this is a handy little guide to tell you what's safe and what isn't in your blood glucose. Now, this always strikes me as absolutely ludicrous, that you can go to the doctor and they'll say, oh yeah, we'll look it up on this website or this website. I want the doctor to be able to give me something that I can take away on paper and read. Because it's all very well saying, oh, we'll look it up on the internet. Not all of us are actually very good at that. I'm not. I hate the internet generally. But this is a little blood glucose indicator guide which shows you where you ought to be and where you really should not be. That's all it is. Never seen one before. That is really useful. So hats off to Sinocare for that. Now you also have a user manual. Now there's really not that much that you need to look at, I don't think, in these things. It gives you all sorts of numbers and understanding what your result... Oh, well, I hadn't seen this. So it actually gives you how to understand your results. Again, never seen that before with a comparable product or anything else. It allows you to store up all the results in memory. So let's just go through the different steps. It says, step 1, wash your hands and dry them. I just did. Step 2, remove the device cap together with connecting collar and insert the lancet into the lancet carrier. So that's load your stabby machine. Then twist off the lancet cap, but don't discard it because you're going to be needing that to cover the lancet again before you throw it away. Lancets are single use only. Always use a new one. Avoid getting your hand lotion, oils, dirt, food, liquids or debris in or on the blood glucose meter. Also, I was once told by another firm that if you have a duff result, it could just be that you touched a door handle where someone had previously used that door handle with hand cream on. That can throw the results way out. So it's a little bit like thinking about DNA impacts in a crime scene. Just treat everything as though it's got some DNA or pollutant on it, and clean your hands properly before you try to do it, before you try to test yourself. Then close the cap on the lancet. Great. Adjust the digital ring. Actually, it'd be more sensible, wouldn't it, if I actually got the equipment out. So, as well as the brochure on how to use things, you get this, a handy little package. What's inside it? Well, in my case, you've got a lancet, pair of batteries, and the device itself. Here you go, that's the machine. So when I'm talking through all this, so far all I've been talking about is the lancet. Haven't used this yet, but I have taken it apart to have a quick look, and it's actually rather an appealing design. You have to cock it every time. That's cocked, and then you press the button and it fires. It has a depth gauge, which is rather nice. So you just twist it round to the depth that you want, and that will depend on you personally. But when you need to load it, you just unscrew the top, put your lancet in there, refit the top, and you're ready to go. So, as I say, adjust the digital ring. That's that digital ring. Pull the adjusting device end cap back, and you're loaded. Take out a test strip. So I should just say you also get test strips and lancets in the box. And then you have your Sinocare device. Now, oddly enough, the first thing you've got to do is insert some batteries. Then there's an on-off switch here, which I assume as you push it up and release it, that will fire it up. And then you've got colour indicators down the bottom. I assume these arrows just take you through the different memorised blood sugar levels that you've got. And that's about it. So you take out a test strip, put your test strip into the hole at the top, immediately cover the bottle cap to make sure you don't get any moisture in there. Then insert the blood glucose test strip into the test strip port, as I just said. Press the arrow, which is that one apparently, the right arrow, to choose the meal marker of pre-meal or post-meal. So you can specify what you've just eaten. Step 9, press the lancing device firmly against your finger, puncture site, press its release button. If need, thumb press near the puncture site to help form a drop of blood. So you just squeeze to get the blood out. If you didn't produce a large enough blood drop, gently massage your finger towards the puncture site. Do not squeeze your finger. I never understood that. All of the instruction firms say that. Now for me, if I don't squeeze my finger, I'm not going to get any blood out at all. So maybe I'm doing things wrong, but what else are you supposed to do? I just don't have enough blood. It's not my fault. Fill the blood sample by touching the tip of the test strip to the drop of blood. Blood's drawn to the test strip automatically. Doobie-doo. Hold the tip of the test strip until the meter beeps, and visually confirm that the blood sample fills the entire sample tip. There's a little window on these test strips, and the window is white and clear, but when you've stabbed your finger, you can see the window goes dark because capillary action means that blood has just filled that window. I think. Beeps. Do not smear or scrape the blood onto the blood glucose test strip. Do not apply blood to the blood glucose test strip when the strip is not in the meter. Do not move the blood glucose meter or blood glucose test strip when testing. You have your blood glucose, you have your finger of blood. You put it into the blood, you take it away. That's moving it. How do you get around moving it? Don't quite understand that. After 5 seconds, the meter displays the test result. If you didn't choose the status of pre or post meal in add sample waiting, you can set it after the meter displays the test result, so you can change that. Fine. Push the strip ejection slide. Oh, that's what that's for. It's not an on button. It's a test rejection slide, so you just push that and that'll push the old test strip out, so it can be discarded. 13. Jab the lancet needle into its cap and dispose of it, and then understanding your results. So there's a lot to go on there, and then it goes through the number of blood glucose test results you can store, control solution test results. I don't have any control solution. That's something I might need to have a look at. Certainly in my existing Agar Matrix system, if you ask them, they'll send you a bottle of test solution, which is something I use every now and again. I must admit, I don't use it as often as I should do. You should probably test it, or test the calibration of your machine once every couple of weeks or so, I think. So, caring for your blood glucose monitor, maintenance, etc., cleaning it, disinfecting it, batteries, battery replacement, troubleshooting, error messages, etc., low, high, low, lots of messages. Oh dear, lots and lots of messages. So that's actually very good. That's not a bad instruction manual, easy to understand, and quite straightforward really. Now, one thing which always gets me is these things aren't cheap, in the same way as my Agar Matrix machine wasn't cheap. Why they can't send you a few alcohol wipes, which cost nothing, so that you can immediately use it, I find incomprehensible. It would be so much better if these machines came with alcohol wipes ready, so that you can use the machine immediately. But no firms seem to supply them. Don't know why. But it strikes me as a silly failing. And any firm that starts providing alcohol wipes would get my vote immediately. Just because it means you can use the machine immediately. If you haven't got the alcohol wipes, and new people to diabetes won't have them. And you only need them really when you're starting out with your first testing machine, because after that you'll have your own supplier. But when you're getting your first testing machine, you need to have that sort of thing. So it just seems silly not to provide them. I am struggling here trying to get the batteries out, whittering away while struggling. It's what I'm good at. Somewhat surprised, I must admit, that the batteries are big old-fashioned types. I mean, they're AAAs, not bigger than that, but even so. I would have thought that a little micro battery type thing would be a little more useful in this day and age, as would hands that aren't so flaming gormless that I can't even pull off a battery cover. Gotcha, right. Oh, that's neat. The battery cover's actually held on, so if you're an old doddery twit like me, you can't lose the darn thing. Right, one battery in there, one battery in there, and it bleeps. That's good. So it is 20, whoops, what's going on here? So it's the 30th. Well, little bit of a palaver, because you have to say you want to adjust things, and then when you want to input the numbers, so for example you want to put in the year, you can't go forwards, you can only go backwards. So it'll start at 2099, it'll start at 99, and you have to go back to 2025. I'm glad I didn't actually film that, because I went back to 2021 because that's what was in the instruction manual and I wasn't thinking. But every time you input using the left hand button, then the right hand button is to accept and go to the next stage of the menu. So a little bit fiddly, okay, but functional enough. I have opened up the little box of lancets, and this is what they look like. nasty little needles inside there. So I'm going to unscrew the cap, take the lancet. Does it matter which way around it goes? Doesn't look like it. Shove it in. Yep. And then you twist off the little cap, and you can see that there's a little needle sticking out there. Put the cap back on, which is a simple bayonet fit, and I'm going to assume that I'm going to be about halfway through the dial, so I'll take 3 out of the 5 digital numbers. And I won't lose that little cap because that's got to go back on it. Then we have the test strips. A nice little collection of test strips. I will take one out. And lid back on. And then that is inserted into the device, and that turns it on. As you can see, you can possibly see there are all these little clear markers here, and they will fill as it sucks up my blood. Lovely term to use. That actually is what they use in their description, which I think is rather sweet actually. But if you look at the Sinocare thing, it says wash your hands, dry them, put the thing in, take the cap off, close the cap, press the button of the lancing device, apply full of blood. Oh, it says it's somewhere anyway. It describes it as the blood sucker, which is what that tube is. So, because there were none came with it, I'll get an alcohol wipe from my special packet here, my travel alcohol pack. The first thing I would say is all of my advice has been that as well as the alcohol wipes, you should always have a bit of kitchen towel or clean tissue that has not been polluted by having any sort of hand cream on it or anything, so that when you've stabbed yourself, you can wipe off the first drop of blood. Don't ask me why, but you're supposed to wipe off the first drop of blood. Here we go, press the button. That stung a little bit, but not much. And now, nice little drop of blood. Wipe it away. Get another drop of blood. Put the machine on it. Now you can see all of those little holes have got filled in. Hopefully you can see that. And that tells me that my blood sugars are 6.3, which is really not too bad. Eject and leave it. And what I'm now going to do is just check it against my old machine. An agar matrix, because if you're testing your blood sugars, you might just as well check them with multiple machines if you've got them, so that you can see how things are going. And here we have the agar matrix version, says 7.1, so it reckons it's a bit higher, which is interesting. And I've no idea which one's the most accurate of the two. And it doesn't actually matter that much. 6.3 to 7.1, both of them are saying that I'm healthy, which is the main thing. However, what I'm going to carry on doing is checking my blood sugars with the pair of them for a bit, and I'll report back. at least to do these tests, I only have to stab myself the once for the tests, which is that bit easier on my skin. So again, take the little safety cover. Now that's fiddly. That's not so easy. You have to be not blind as a bat. Not entirely happy about that. Can't be blind as a bat, because trying to stab something that small is not easy. There was presumably a hole in there when I pulled it off originally, but I couldn't see that with the current state of play. Anyway, how does this all go? Well, in this nice little packet, you've got space for your machine, you've got space for your stabby thing, you've got a little elastic band there, which is not big enough actually for the bottle, which is a bit disappointing. And then you've got space in here for all the lancets. So I'll stick them in there. Not just lancets, you can also obviously use these pockets to store a few spare alcohol wipes and the type, that sort of thing. And also your handy guide, that'll fit in as well. So mine is 7 point something mmols per litre and 6.3, which is normal, and the 7.3, as said with the other device, is borderline, it says, but it's low borderline. It's not something I'm going to worry about. So it's interesting. Nice piece of kit. It's a handy travel pouch. Is it perfect? No. Why not? Well, because this hasn't got anywhere to go. It can't fit in there. That elastic is far too small for it to fit in there. It won't go there because then it will clash with the machine. So it's got to rest there. It would be better if there was some Velcro or something here to hold the lancets in place, because I fear they're likely to move around a fair bit. There is just about space for the information card to go, I think. So I'll put that in on top somehow. Probably like that. That should fit. And then zip it all up. And you've got a handy travel pack. So that's neat, like that. And I'll report back as and when I get some results. Hope that was interesting. Thanks a lot for watching. If you're diabetic yourself, then do keep an eye on this channel, because I will put things up as and when I get a chance. I'm going to be reviewing the continual glucose monitors as well. I'll be testing them compared with an AGA matrix system and with the Sinocare one as well, so that I can compare results, and I'll let you know what's going on. And apart from that, thanks a lot for watching. If you don't mind, hit the like and subscribe and all those other good things, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks a lot for watching and take care. Cheers.